A New York City court calls property taxes unconstitutional. Are you ready for a possible TikTok ban? Can your business survive? And the real estate industry is still reeling over the $418 million lawsuit settlement. I'm Jeffrey St. Aaron with Serhant here on Estate Media, and let's get to the point. So coming in at number 5 this week, and this is the second week in a row where a court case can directly impact your business. So the New York State Court of Appeals is challenging the constitutionality of property taxes. And essentially, this is being filed by TENI, which is the Tax Equity Now New York group. And their claim is that the tax system is a violation of the Fair Housing Act because it disproportionately taxes and puts a burden on neighborhoods of color. And this was previously thrown out by the appellate court, and now the Court of Appeals is actually saying that this case needs to go to trial. Now, if TENI happens to win this trial, this would completely change the property tax system. This is something that could directly and will directly impact your business, so you should really take a look at this article. So for the fourth top story this week, we're going to pivot out of the courtroom and take a look at the market. So the Manhattan's luxury market, and we deem that to be anything that's in contract for $4 million or more, had its best week since May of last year. Now, as a total, we nearly eclipsed $300 million of deals in contract. And just to give you some perspective, that total number last week was 40. And prior to that, we've never eclipsed more than 30 deals in a week. So that's a great sign as we're now start the spring market. But take a look at this article and you'll break down the number of condos, co-ops, and townhouses that went into contract last week. So coming in at number 3 is yet again another topic that could directly impact your business. It's the potential TikTok ban. Now, we know this is already passed in the House overwhelmingly, and now it's going to Senate for vote. So this can very well happen. So this article in Inman really talks about what are you doing to diversify your social media presence if this TikTok ban actually happens. There was recently a study by National Association of Realtors, NAR, and they said within the last 3 years, the level of agents has been on TikTok almost quadrupled. So there are a lot of agents that will be impacted by this. So a couple of great pointers in this article. Number 1, stick to the things that are tried and true. That's your newsletter, that's your website. Make sure it's really polished and people can still reach out to you and know where you are. The other thing is diversify where your content lives on social media. So you have obviously Instagram, you have LinkedIn, you have YouTube, both of which afford the opportunity for both short form and long form content. So be active there. And the third thing that's really important that this article touches on is explore new platforms. So things like Threads, that's really great. I talked about LinkedIn, but a lot of agents don't use LinkedIn as effectively as they should. So this is a great way to be proactive. So if this this ban actually happens, it won't impact your business because you'll be ahead of it. All right. So read this article, great information, and you won't be impacted if this ban actually happens, which I quietly doubt will. So coming in at number 2 this week is yet another article that could directly impact agents. This is an article that's in Inman, and it's the Inman Intel results where they poll agents, and 27% of agents are now considering joining a new trade group. And this comes off the heels of the NAR settlement, which we're going to get into a lot more shortly, and the shakeup at NAR. And so for those agents who are members of NAR, they're determining, whom should they align with. And so if you were at Inman Connect in January in New York, Mauricio Umansky, the CEO of the agency basically is proposing a direct competitor, American Real Estate Association, to directly compete with NAR. He thinks this can provide better lobbying and better advocacy for agents. So this is an article you should definitely take a look at because, again, this can directly impact the direction of where agents go moving forward, especially on the heels of what just happened with this NAR settlement. So the top story this week, we all know what it is. This has been making the rounds on all news outlets, is the NAR agreeing to pay $418 million in this settlement. Now, a couple of things I want to address right off the bat. This article here in Inman, this is a great article because it speaks about exactly what's happening. But there's been a lot of articles that are basically clickbait. And the first thing you read is that commissions are going to be slashed. Now, that's not necessarily true. What is true is that sellers are going to net more because they only have to pay for their side of the transaction representation with the seller's broker. However, buyers now, they have to pay, if they want representation, they have to pay for their own agents. And so the other thing to be clear that you could always, as a seller, you could always negotiate your commission. That was always the case, and that remains to be the case. But the only difference is now, buyers, if they want representation, they have to pay for it themselves. So I think this is a great opportunity for good and great brokers to separate themselves from the mediocrity. And I think the other thing that's really important is to understand this only impacts NAR members and MLS members. And so that doesn't affect New York City. Everything in New York City remains the same, but this will affect, I would say, the vast majority of the country, and this will come into effect in the summer when this is actually final. But read this article to make sure you know exactly how this will impact you as we embark on the spring and the summer market. Thanks for watching. Make sure you follow Estate Media to get your top 5 real estate stories of the week.